Since the dawn of human civilization, one issue has continuously been at the heart of debate, law, and religion: human sexuality. From ancient times to our modern-day conversations, sexuality has been a controversial, divisive, yet undeniably central part of human society. For millennia, sexuality has been grouped into two camps: what's considered normal and moral by societal standards, usually influenced by religion, and what's deemed deviant, abnormal, or immoral. And let's be honest, in the Judeo-Christian tradition, that distinction is pretty black and white. According to the Bible, only one form of sexual relationship is considered moral: that between a man and a woman, within the sacred bond of marriage. Any deviation from this is viewed as sinful. From Leviticus 18:22, where same-sex relationships are condemned, to Hebrews 13:4 says, where marriage is held as honorable and adultery is scorned, the message is clear. Heterosexual, monogamous marriage is the only right way. But here's where it gets interesting. The more society pushes a one-size-fits-all view of sexuality, the more people seem to privately deviate from it. Let's look at some stats. Did you know that in the US, around 90% of people have sex before marriage? Similar trends exist across Europe, even in societies steeped in Christian values. This shows us something profound. Even in religious societies, many people live a double life, abiding by public norms while privately indulging in what religion would deem immoral. Is this hypocrisy? Maybe. Or perhaps it's human nature. The biological urge to fulfill our sexual desires often clashes with religious or societal restrictions. And as humanists argue, you can't easily police what's natural to humans. Now, here's where it gets really thought-provoking. Humanists and secular thinkers argue that trying to control human sexuality, who we love, how we express our desires, is an impossible task. Why? Because humans, like any other species, have a biological drive to procreate and fulfill their sexual urges. And as much as society tries to chain those desires with rules, the urge always seems to break free. As Jesus himself said in Matthew 26:41, "The spirit is willing, but the flesh is weak." Even the Bible recognizes the tension between moral restrictions and human desires. But here's a deeper question. Should people have complete freedom to express their sexuality, regardless of the norms? Well, most people fall within a socially acceptable range of behavior. Yet, society also agrees that there must be limits, especially when certain sexual acts could harm others or disrupt the moral fabric of the community. And while many of these restrictions come from religious influence, in democratic societies, there's a growing call for discussions based on empirical data, rather than just tradition or bias. For example, some people claim that the LGBTQ+ community is responsible for the moral decay of society. But here's the thing. There's no solid evidence to back this up. It's a slippery slope fallacy used to justify bigotry. Many of these prejudices have no foundation in reality, and studies show that LGBTQ+ individuals live just as morally and ethically as their heterosexual counterparts. So, is it fair to impose a black and white, one-dimensional view of human sexuality on everyone? The Bible may offer one perspective, but when we look beyond religion, human sexuality is revealed to be far more complex and diverse than any single belief system can contain. At the end of the day, sexuality is deeply personal. And while religious traditions like Christianity and Islam will always have their moral codes, calling on their followers to abstain from anything outside of heterosexual marriage. Society must grapple with this reality. Human sexuality is layered, diverse, and not easily constrained. As Galatians 5:13 reminds us, "You, my brothers and sisters, were called to be free. But do not use your freedom to indulge the flesh. Rather, serve one another humbly in love." This calls for a balance between freedom and responsibility. Freedom to express ourselves, but in a way that respects others and the well-being of society as a whole. So, where do we go from here? Maybe it's time for open conversations, rooted not in judgment, but in understanding, empathy, and data. After all, human sexuality is too intricate, too layered, to be simply labeled as good or bad. It's part of who we are. Thanks for tuning in to today's deep dive. What do you think about the interplay between faith, society, and sexuality? Drop your thoughts in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe for more thought-provoking content. Until next time, keep questioning, keep exploring.